Back in 2018, when Andor was first announced, I was rather hesitant about the whole multi-season spy thriller show done about a character we already knew had a brutal end coming for them, let alone a character who was only in a single film with not much supplemental material about him around at that time. But as the show moved on and people like Tony Gilroy started getting involved, my interest grew until this week we finally saw the first 3 episodes of Andor on Disney+. At this point in the pop culture zeitgeist, it's a meme to say something is made for adults or you have to have a certain IQ to enjoy it, and more often than not it's said as a joke about really shitty products like Morbius. But with Andor, it's actually honest to God an adult Star Wars show. The show picks up a few years before Rogue One, and we find Cassian Andor, again played wonderfully by Diego Luna, trying just to get by in life on a mid-rim worker planet as he tries looking for his long-lost sister. But after being in the wrong place at the wrong time, Cassian becomes a wanted man and must fall through the galactic underworld using his contacts and wits to escape his pursuers. Andor takes a really cool and unique take on a Star Wars story, ditching a lot of what makes Star Wars Star Wars. There's no Jedi or Sith or Force users or anything like that. No Mandalorians are showing up. No massive battles or action sequences every 5 minutes or unrelenting fan services and loads of member berries, all of which are just ejected in favor of making some proper real characters and exploring their motivations, their everyday lives and their troubles and interconnected relationships. There is a lot of scenes of characters just kind of standing around and talking through things, going through their day-to-day lives and just trying to survive and stay out of the way of the Empire and anyone else who threatens their existence. There were still some very small pieces of fan service, but it's not directly in your face, and it's more to do with the environments and the settings and everything. Like there'll be something on the wall that I'll recognize that I've heard about in like a book or seen in a comic book, or there'll be a ship design which I'm very familiar with. Just like little things like that. They don't stop and point it out and say, this is that thing from that movie you remember, don't you like it? None of that stuff. It's all background sets, ships, character names, stuff like that, which as someone who is into Star Wars lore and the universe and knowing all that sort of stuff, I really enjoy it. Star Wars has always had ties to World War II, be it from the Nazis influencing the look and feel of the Empire to literal dogfight clips from World War II being used as an influence on X-Wing fights and stuff around that first film, A New Hope. And here in Andor, we get a lot of that same sort of stuff, especially with the Corpo Police, who are the main villains of these first 3 episodes and probably going to be in the whole season apart from the Empire. And I love that they really remind me of stuff like World War II German police, police during World War II, or other Nazi sympathizers from that era. And Cassian's job as a kind of smuggler and wheeler and dealer of hard and rare to get items, while also very classic Star Wars, also helps him feel like a person who wouldn't be out of place helping someone like the French Resistance during World War II. So I thought that was a neat little touch with his character. While the show is named Andor after its main character Cassian Andor, he is but one piece of the show, and he actually shares the screen time with a group of other characters, and that cast will end up growing throughout the season. But here we have Adria Arjona's Bix Kayleen, one of Cassian's friends and potential love interest, and Kyle Solar's Cyril, a corpo cop in pursuit of Cassian, and the character who actually turned out to be my absolute favorite from these 3 episodes. The character is really well done by Kyle, and he's an absolute bootlicker, sort of stiff upper lip guy that I really enjoy seeing in Star Wars, and I like that we're actually getting into that character, since you never really do. It's always Imperial officers you see in like one scene in a film, but getting a whole season where we get to develop with this guy is going to be a lot of fun. While the on-the-run plot is a big part of these first 3 episodes and kind of the genesis of where Cassian will end up throughout the season, the overall theme of the show is the spark of rebellion, which we also saw in Rogue One, and Andor begins that story for Cassian this time, as many characters try and tell the man to find something to fight for or work towards. And we even get a hint at Cassian's hatred for those in power with some cool flashback sequences to him as a child on a destroyed mining planet. The show does a great job showing how a rebellion can take shape in a galaxy that is under subjugation, being pulled in so many different directions, and over these 3 episodes the tension just racks up every episode until something pretty really big and explosive happens in the third episode, which really catapults the show quite literally out into the larger universe, as our story is more or less set up, and the remaining 9 episodes should all be just pure plot progression and payoff as we follow Cassian on this journey to discover who he is meant to become. Andor episodes 1 to 3 were a brilliant and much needed refresh of the Star Wars franchise, ditching all of the spectacle and fan service that previous live action shows have really leaned on in favor of more dense and realistic characters, settings, and plot developments. I'm going to give all 3 of these episodes a 10 out of 10.